The anime begins by showing a group of heroes going straight to the Demon King's castle. They are confident and prepared to defeat him, because they now believe they have discovered all of his abilities. The enormous castle doors open, and inside many monsters are already waiting for them. Even so, the group manages to move forward, at least up to a certain point. In the middle of their advance, they are intercepted by a high-ranking demon. He says that the heroes will not be able to go any further without getting past him. Mikana, the mage of the group, is the first to attack. She unleashes her magic with full force, but the spell simply has no effect at all. Next it is the swordsman's turn, who charges forward with his sword, but the demon dodges with extreme ease, and with just a single strike, he sends him flying back toward his own team. Even so, the heroes do not think about giving up. Cecilia, the support of the group, uses her magic to enhance the hero's attributes. Yuga then advances, wielding the legendary sword Excalibur. In response, the demon activates an infinite darkness magic, and easily defeats the entire group, leaving everyone brutally beaten on the ground. As he observes the fallen heroes, the demon prepares to use his magic on them, but when he looks more closely at Cecilia, he becomes completely mesmerized by her beauty. That girl is completely his type. Unfortunately, his impure thoughts are interrupted by his subordinates, who ask whether they should finish off the heroes. One of them notices how much the demon was staring at the priestess, and mocks him, asking if he likes that kind of strange girl. Our love-struck demon even ends up being called a pervert. Indignant, the demon replies that he was not thinking about anything inappropriate. He orders that the heroes be merely removed from the castle, since there is a human village near that location. As the heroes are taken away, he discreetly bids farewell to his dear priestess, calling her his future love. 1 month later, the Demon King asks our demon, named Yuki, why he still has not ended the heroes' lives. Yuki replies that those weak creatures are not worth the effort. However, the Demon King issues a warning. If he does not kill them, that task will be passed on to his subordinate, and Yuki knows that he cannot allow that, because his loyal followers would probably be defeated by the heroes. With few options left, he replies that next time he will certainly kill the group of heroes. After leaving the Demon King's chamber, Yuki reflects to himself. He can no longer continue sparing the heroes' lives, but he also does not wish to kill them. The truth is that Yuki is extremely powerful, and those heroes are not weak. In fact, they are strong and skilled enough to defeat the Demon King. Even so, he knows that next time he will need to resolve this situation once and for all. He just does not yet know how, and since the heroes do not seem to learn, they return once again to the castle for another desperate attempt to defeat the Demon King. Haven and Yuga advance together against Yuki, but their attacks continue to be completely useless, and both of them are hurled against the wall. Cecilia asks Mikana to distract him, while she takes responsibility for healing the rest of the group. Mikana attacks Yuki quickly, but once again she is unable to cause any damage at all. Yuki is impressed by the girl he likes as she heals her companions, and when he sees how determined she is, he ends up laughing a little, and soon after he returns to character, saying that they will never be able to defeat him. Yuga then asks for Cecilia's support and strength. He advances once more against Yuki. However, the demon does not even bother to react, and coldly states that they will never be able to defeat him. Even so, he makes a strange proposal. If they wish to move forward and defeat the Demon King, he will allow it, but in exchange, the priestess must stay with him. Yuga immediately refuses. However, Mikana suggests that perhaps it would be better to accept, because if Yuki truly wanted to kill them, he would have done so a long time ago. Even so, Yuga continues to refuse. That is when Cecilia speaks up and asks them to move forward without her, stating that the salvation of the world is more important than her own life. The heroes, even though hesitant, move on, but promise Cecilia that they will return to rescue her. When Yuki is finally left alone with her, Cecilia declares that even if she is not capable of defeating him, she will fight until the very end. Then, she fires her sacred laser at Yuki. Yuki asks her to wait a moment and formally introduces himself. Confused, Cecilia asks why a demon would go through the trouble of introducing himself, since she is certain that he intends to kill her. Yuki, very calmly, replies that if he had that intention, he would have done it a long time ago. That is when Yuki finally gathers the courage and confesses that he fell in love with her at first sight. He looks straight at Cecilia and bluntly asks her out. Cecilia is left completely speechless. She cannot believe what she just heard and ends up apologizing, saying that she cannot accept his request. Right after that, she starts thinking that all of this is nothing more than a ploy to distract her, so she prepares to attack him. However, when she realizes that Yuki continues to show no resistance at all, she stops and asks what the hell he is doing. Yuki replies that after being rejected, he has no reason left to live, and he says this very seriously, because even if he continues living, all he can do is remain in the Demon King's castle. He is only allowed to leave if it is to attack human villages, something he truly hates doing. Cecilia argues back, saying that he is just lying. After all, demons are cruel by nature, and the Demon King wants to destroy humanity. Yuki listens to everything in silence and then reveals the truth. Even though he looks like a demon, he is actually a being who reincarnated from another world. Yuki reveals that, on the inside, he is human. Surprised, Cecilia then asks why he serves the Demon King, since with the power he has, he could easily defeat him. Yuki explains that if he did that, he would most likely be appointed the next Demon King, and that is an idea he absolutely hates. That is why he spent so many days locked away, reflecting on how pathetic his life had become, until one day a ray of light illuminated his existence. And that light was her cuteness. Even though it had only been 1 month, that was the period when he truly felt alive, even as a demon, but now none of that mattered anymore. Fortunately for Yuki, telling his whole sad story actually works, because Cecilia sighs and says that if he truly has a human heart, he should use his power for the good of humanity and live in the outside world by her side. And that is how Yuki finally obtains a wonderful life. As time passes, we see the heroes receiving the most sincere thanks from the king for having defeated the Demon King. Thanks to their victory, the king creates 3 entire days as a national holiday to celebrate the triumph. Too bad those days do not exist in our world. In the streets, everyone praises the heroes, while elsewhere in the kingdom, Yuki prepares for his new life. He tears off his horn and takes on a completely human appearance. Meanwhile, Yuga comments that all of this was only possible thanks to Cecilia. McKenna, on the other hand, watches in silence, clearly bothered by something. Now, as a human, Yuki goes to the Adventurers Guild to register himself. The receptionist, who does not seem to have any desire to serve him, explains the basics. Registering at the guild is simple. He will start at the lowest rank and can climb all the way to the highest one. Most people take at least a month to rank up, and before handing over his guild identification card, the receptionist explains that reissuing this document is a huge hassle, so he recommends that Yuki not lose it, especially now, since most of the staff are on leave because of the festival. After finishing the registration, the receptionist introduces himself as Clayman, and with all his laziness and lack of enthusiasm in customer service, he wishes the new adventurer good luck. Yuki immediately starts working, and by nightfall, he realizes that his overtime earned him quite a lot of money, even though it was his first day. Even so, he still needs much more money, because his dream now is to have a stable life, so that in the future he can confess to Cecilia again. And this time, he will do whatever it takes to make his love become reality. Sometime later, upon returning to the guild, Yuki goes to Clayman to get new quests, but Clayman does not want to serve him. He says that there is a very pretty young woman right next to him who could help him instead, but Yuki still insists on being attended by him. The other adventurers comment about a rookie who is ranking up at an absurd speed, and Clayman is forced to ask who Yuki really is, since he has been climbing the ranks so quickly. Yuki replies that he is just an ordinary boy, and since Clayman is not strong enough to start a fight, he decides not to dig into it any further. If there is a problem to be dealt with, it will not be him who handles it. At that moment, Cecilia enters the Adventurers Guild and asks Clayman to please cancel all of Yuki's missions. Clayman immediately recognizes her and even addresses her as Miss. but Cecilia asks him to be discreet. Then she turns to Yuki and asks him, please, to come with her to her house, for there are important things they need to talk about. Some time later, upon arriving at the residence, one of the guards lunges at Yuki, asking what a boy who smells like filth is doing in Cecilia's magnificent lawful carriage. The other guard tries to restrain him, saying that the boy actually smells fine. But before the situation worsens, Cecilia intervenes, stating that Yuki is her friend, and upon hearing the sweet word friend come out of Cecilia's wonderful mouth, Yuki is left completely enchanted. Later, Cecilia explains to Yuki that she wanted to see him sooner, but many things ended up happening. Yuki replies that she does not need to worry, because he has been doing very well as an adventurer. Even so, he admits that he was surprised that she managed to find him there. Cecilia then reveals that, in fact, he has become quite famous in the city. She has already heard the rumors that a rookie adventurer is rising through the ranks very quickly, and despite being happy to see him again, she makes a difficult request. She asks him to stop being an adventurer. Not understanding anything, Yuki becomes confused, and Cecilia explains that although the hero defeated the Demon King, that does not mean the world is free of threats. Yuki quickly understands that the death of the Demon King did not eliminate all demons and monsters, but Cecilia says that now the problem is different, because at any moment, human nations may begin a dispute for supremacy, and signs of this are already appearing, with Trump invading Venezuela. Wait, that was in real life, right? But it is similar. Man. Soon, a world war will break out. She says that the hero received several engagement proposals from other kingdoms. The leaders use status, money, and marriage to gather military power and influence. In other words, they want to turn the hero into a piece of war. In Yuki's case, he is a rookie adventurer who leveled up far too quickly, and if he continues like this, soon he will reach rank S, and all eyes will be focused on him. If some kingdom recruits him and discovers his true demonic origin, they could use him as a weapon to conquer the world. Or, in the worst case, he would be turned into the next Demon King, and that would put an end to his second life. Yuki understands what she means, but he says that his rent does not pay itself. Cecilia explains that although she would like to hire him and pay him, unfortunately, she does not have the resources to support a rank S adventurer. Even so, she promises to do everything within her power, and for the peace of the kingdom, she asks him to accept. Yuki stands up and asks her not to bow before him. In addition, he makes it clear that he does not intend to accept proposals from other kingdoms, even if a beautiful lady were to ask him to do so, and the reason is simple. At present, Cecilia is the only girl he can see. Cecilia laughs a little and becomes embarrassed. She says that she worried for nothing, and since he does not intend to leave this kingdom, she says that he can continue being an adventurer. At that moment, they are interrupted by Cecilia's mother, named Celia. Yuki politely introduces himself to the woman who may become his future mother-in-law, and Celia apologizes for the guard's behavior. Yuki replies that there is nothing to worry about. Even so, Celia asks the head maid to take charge of properly educating that ill-mannered guard. Yuki believes that the maid will not do anything extreme, perhaps just leave him without food. But suddenly he hears Sophia asking how many bones she should break. Then he comes to the conclusion that that guard is completely doomed. Noticing the strange atmosphere, Cecilia asks whether the guard's mistake is the reason for this meeting. Celia apologizes and asks Sophia to leave them alone for a moment. When the girls and Yuki are alone, Celia reveals to Yuki that her daughter has received several marriage proposals, including one from the hero himself. Yuki panics and becomes irritated. He wonders why that damn popular hero did not find another girl, but Cecilia calms him down, explaining that she rejected all proposals, including the hero's. Celia clearly realizes that Yuki also harbors feelings for her daughter, and after sitting beside him, she asks him directly whether he would like to marry Cecilia. Expecting a simple yes or no, Yuki apologizes and explains that he already confessed once and was rejected. Because of that, for now his goal is to work hard as an adventurer, achieve a stable life, and only then confess to Cecilia again. Celia asks whether he is rejecting the easy path. Yuki then asks for forgiveness if he offended her, but states that he wants to move forward on hard mode, because clearing games on easy mode is something only weak people do. A few seconds later, Celia smiles and says that he is approved. After all, she would not hand her daughter over easily to just anyone. Now he is officially welcome in this house. Later, Cecilia comments that her mother seems to have taken an interest in him and asks whether that bothers him. Yuki replies that it does not. After all, she will soon be his mother-in-law, and, a little embarrassed, he makes one last request. If Cecilia allows it, he would like to call her only by her first name. Cecilia takes a few seconds to understand, but replies that there is no problem at all, and since he will call her that way, she will also start calling him by his first name, and that ends up making Yuki very happy. And that is how this video ends.